O.J. Simpson, the former US football star. You thought I was going to say something else starting with F. You were wrong. O.J. Simpson, the former US football star turned murderer, died today, bringing to an end one of the most controversial figures of our time. In the 70s, O.J. Simpson was an American football phenomenon, playing with the Buffalo Bills.
O.J. running left, O.J. 5-4.
Then he tried his hand in acting, where he slid under cars and slapped his forehead in disbelief. But it all came crashing down with this.
He was the most famous American ever charged with murder.
In June of '94, Simpson's ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman were found stabbed to death in her LA home. Simpson dealt with the police attention with the now infamous slow speed chase.
Now they have picked up the white Bronco on the 5 freeway. The vehicle is driving about 20 or so miles an hour. We believe that the passenger is O.J. Simpson.
In '95, Simpson went on trial for the killings. A media sensation. It was dubbed the trial of the century.
It became a national obsession. Everybody watched it.
Well, it was a very dramatic time in American history. The country was divided along racial lines.
Despite a mountain of evidence against him, Simpson's defense team brought their A game. And an epic courtroom stunt. O.J. struggling to put on a glove found at the scene.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The jury found Simpson not guilty.
Not guilty of the crime of murder.
He was, however, found liable for the deaths in a civil trial in '97 and ordered to pay $33.5 million US to the victims' families.
Things will work out. They always do.
In 2006, Simpson sold a book manuscript titled If I Did It, and also gave a TV interview graphically detailing the murders. He was supposed to be retelling a hypothetical scenario.
As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself. So I remember I grabbed the knife. I do remember that portion. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember. Except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around and
What kind of stuff?
blood and stuff around. I hate to say this, but this is
In 2008, he was convicted, but of armed robbery after breaking into a Las Vegas hotel room and holding 2 sports memorabilia dealers at gunpoint. He did 9 years. This was his parole hearing.
I've always thought I've been pretty good with people, and I basically have spent a conflict-free life.
Yeah, except for all those murders you did.
My reaction to O.J. passing? Good.
He got away with murder.
Not gonna miss him.
Not shedding any tears.
I thought he was a great football player. You know, everybody has bad times. Everybody goes through shit.
I figured he was a good guy before, the murder stuff happened.
Simpson died after battling prostate cancer. He was 76.
Attorney Gloria Allred was part of the legal team representing the families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman in O.J.'s 1995 trial. I spoke with her a little earlier. Gloria, thank you so much for joining us. What did you think when you first heard the news today?
I don't mourn for him. I did represent the family of Nicole Brown Simpson during the criminal case. And I do mourn for the victim, Nicole Brown Simpson, whom he killed. He killed her. And he almost decapitated her, left her after he slashed her throat, lying in her own pool of blood on the doorstep right outside of her condominium where their young children were sleeping inside. What if they had awakened, couldn't find their mother, and went outside to look for mommy, opened the door, and saw their mother like that, with her head almost off the body? They would never have been able to get that picture out of their heads, no matter how old they got. O.J. Simpson never thought about anybody but himself.
Can you take us back to the criminal trial? What was it like being in that courtroom with O.J. Simpson? What was the frenzy like? What set this case apart from all the others?
So when I heard Johnny Cochran, whom I knew, he was a very good defense attorney, when I heard him say to the jury, keep your eyes on the prize, because I was a civil rights attorney, I knew exactly what he was doing. What he was doing is touching a very deep chord that would resonate with African American members of the jury. But it wasn't about that. It was about a violence against women. It was about battering women, abusing women, hurting women. I knew it was all over at that time. I knew it was all over when they had O.J. Simpson try on the glove. That was a mistake. It didn't fit for reasons, nothing to do with because it didn't fit him and he didn't do it. There were technical reasons why that glove, which had been wet from the blood, should never have been permitted for him to try that on in the courtroom. We remember the time the headlines were that the prosecution had a mountain of evidence, a mountain. When I talk about evidence, I'm talking about O.J. Simpson's blood, his DNA at the crime scene, all over the crime scene.
So how did he get away with murder then? How did the jury come to this verdict?
You know, I don't know. Some of them were interviewed afterwards and they all had different reasons. You know, O.J. Simpson moved away. He moved to Florida. In Florida, you can shelter in your home. You can make sure that your home cannot be taken by your, creditors. And so he moved there to kind of homestead his home, so to speak. And then he had the NFL pension, which also couldn't be touched. So that's why he moved to Florida. But there's one person he could never get away from, and that's himself. I had even some of his girlfriends after he was acquitted, after he moved to Florida, get in touch with me. And they were victims of his violence. So he never changed. In fact, I think he got worse in many ways. And that's why all I can say is I'm sick of hearing about O.J. Simpson. I want to hear about justice for women victims. So O.J. Simpson is dead. Maybe now Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman will be able to finally rest in peace.
What do you think today should mean with O.J. Simpson dead? What should it mean to modern America, to the world?
The public has to learn. This could be your daughter. This could be your mother. This could be your sister. This could be your aunt. There are millions of women around the world who have no voice and are being victimized. It's got to stop, and the perpetrators have to face consequences. I don't give a damn about men who are rich, famous, powerful, or celebrities. All I care about is justice for their victims.
Gloria Allred, we thank you for your work and thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
That's some powerful words there.
Yeah.
It's interesting talking about this today, a big story for a lot of us who came into the office, but for some people it was a whole bunch of, I don't really know much about the history of it. And I remember at the time the verdict came down, I was coming back from a stand-up gig with some friends and we'd stopped off to fill up the car and went to go pay, and the guy at the service station counter, there was no one at the cash register.
Oh.
And the guys yelled out, "I'm out the back, they're about to give the OJ verdict." So we have gone out the back of the inside the service station. He's got this tiny little television and we watched it happen live and we're all just staring at each other going, what just happened? Because that was so unexpected. Like she's saying, it seemed like it was an open and shut case and they came back with not guilty.
Also, that's evidence of just how it captured the world's attention.
Yeah.
I mean, you were on the other side of the world, not like an NFL fan watching, being like, what is happening?
And then I'm one of the people who did get the book. It was this ridiculous thing that years later he's written a book saying, but when it was reprinted, they put the "if" in tiny little letters.
Oh my God.
So the cover just looks like it said, "I did it."
Yeah, that was Nicole Simpson's parents, I believe. In the civil suit, they said, yeah, you can keep the book, but we're changing it. You've got to put the "if" really small.
And again, it's like O.J. Simpson wrote a book saying, I did not do this. But if I did, here's how I would have done it.
Yeah.
And step by step, just wrote out the whole thing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's so sad to hear Gloria speaking. This is so many years ago that this verdict has gone down, and you can just hear how tired she is of this story. And I think we get really detached because of his celebrity and because he's this NFL star and this actor, and there's kind of like, oh, this is a story, but this really happened to people. And it's exhausting and it's tiring and it's really sad.
And as always, the perpetrator becomes the centrepiece instead of the victim.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as she said, that's something that can be acknowledged a little bit more now.
Rectified.